Alright, what's good, people? So it's time. I've been putting off doing this video for long enough. I kept trying to wait on the green thorn astrum clone to come in so that I could do these two together, but the more I thought about it, the more that this thing probably just deserves to have its own video. I mean, this is just a crazy looking knife. So it's the green thorn bio clone of a shiro, and it's full titanium, and it's VG10 steel. They make an M390 version, but it's $250. This one you can get for right around $80. I picked mine up for, I want to say $70, and I'm still getting over being sick, so you'll have to forgive me. I sound like shit. I kind of feel like shit still, but you know, this knife is just amazing. I mean, look at this milled texture on here, and it's contoured on top of that, and then like you've got this like raised line that runs all the way down through there. You've got this intricate kind of lanyard loop spot back here in the back spacer, a full milled clip that works amazing. I kind of nicked mine up a little bit right there. And the action on then the cool pivot, you know, with this like rock looking knocked out texture on it on both sides. It has a proprietary hardware, but it comes with the tool. Unfortunately, I seem to have lost my tool, or I'm just not sure what I did with it. I could probably find it if I searched around, but you can use a flathead and get these out, you know, if you wanted to. You just got to be careful you don't mar it up. But look at this sucker opened up. What a beast. And it's a bead blast finish. And this thing came amazingly sharp. This line that runs down through here runs right into the swedge. The swedge is done phenomenally well. You can kind of see where it thickens out a little bit up there out towards the tip. It's just a beautiful knife opened up, and it's a dream to hold in the hand. You can't really choke up on it. I mean, I guess you could if you wanted to do the trigger pull, but I mean, I guess you could carry this and cut with it, but it's a big old mama jama. And lock bar access, it looks like it wouldn't be that good, but because it's scalloped out on both sides right here, it's actually really easy to get to. And then it's so buttery smooth on the drop. So the only marking on this whole knife is right here at the top where it says VG10. And I actually sent this one in to Apex Alchemy, and he poked it twice. It got a 60 both times, I want to say, which I would expect. I mean, it's Chinese VG10, so it's not like it's difficult for them to heat treat this. And it came, like I said, razor sharp. And the action on it is, you know, it wasn't quite this good when I first got it, so I did have to break it in, and I fast-tracked it, you know, by holding down the lock bar and running it against the groove. And you can see the groove when it's opened up. Not sure if that is on the original or not. You know, the original of this thing is thousands and thousands of dollars. And heck, any other company that would come out with a knife with this kind of millwork on it and stuff would be wanting astronomical prices for it. Just like the real one commands, you know. And then the inside of this thing, so we'll use, this is a great little flashlight. I don't know how long ago I got this off of Amazon for like 20 bucks, but it's got a built-in black light on it, and then it's got a little magnet on the back side of it, and it's got like 3 different brightness adjustments plus a power adjustment. But double click it on, hold it down to change the settings, but you can see all the milled out portions on the inside of there. They milled this thing out on the inside just from here to high heaven. Even on the lock face, it's milled out, you know. It's just kind of crazy. So the weight on this thing is only 4.1 ounces, and it's a huge knife, or not huge, it's just really long. So what are we, 8 3/4. Yeah, right at 8 3/4. So that gives us a 3 and 3, little over to 3 7/8 on the cutting edge. So it's damn near at the ounce and inch ratio. And that's one of the reasons why it looks so fantastic opened up. I mean, isn't it just mind-blowing that you can get this for $70? And then again, the M390 version, it has even better bearings on the inside. And I think that's about it. Some of theirs, like the Astrum, the premium version, has a different mill pattern and stuff on it. But I think with this one, the mill pattern, everything's the same. Just the steel is upgraded and the bearings are upgraded. And these are still really nice bearings. They're double road Delrin ceramic ball bearings that, you know, look like the Tucson ones, but they're doubled. So 2 sets of them. And like I said, once you break it in, it's amazing. You know, and like you'll have somebody like Metal Complex tell you, oh, you can't get a clone of a Shiro for cheap and it be any good. Well, I'm here to tell you, buddy, you can. And you can get a hell of a good knife for freaking $70, $80. Full titanium build. I'm pretty sure the hardware's titanium. Let's double check. We'll use a little magnet on this guy. So that feels like that's steel, but that is not. So that's just the pivot I'm catching right there. So the hardware is going to be titanium. And then, like I said, just the action and the looks of this thing. I mean, again, when else am I going to be able to buy a knife like this with contoured titanium milled like this with a decent steel Chinese VG10 that holds up well, that came just ridiculously sharp for $70 or $80? I mean, you can't, you know, unless you're willing to buy a clone. That's the only way. There is no other way. Like I said, it's ridiculously sharp. And the action on it is just phenomenal. You know, it's phenomenal. I mean, you hear it when you kick it open. I can't fail it for nothing. Like, I can try, and normally I can fail just about any knife. I mean, if I go with my thumb, I can fail it. But if I'm doing it with my index finger, even trying to stay off the clip, off the lock bar access, it's just like it's so smooth that any amount of go on it, and it's going to just swing out. I can't. You know, maybe if I wasn't behind the camera, I could, but let's take a look at. So I have the Wii Cybernetic, and this knife is just an amazing knife. You know, I need to do a review on it. The only letdown is the deployment, the top flipper, front flipper. It's not the greatest, but opened up, this thing is just a work of art, in my opinion. But it's almost identical in length to this. And the build quality on this is just as good as this. You know, the action is completely different, because on this Wii, it is so just fall shut. I mean, it's still hydraulic-y, but it's very, 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 very fall shut. You know, so it's like a different type of action. It's very good on this Wii. You know, but this is like that nice slow hydraulic fall, whereas this is more guillotine-like. But you can see, like, even closed up, these are very, very similar in size. And then if we look at, we'll look at one that I recently just did the review on, the Miguron Mero. Again, build quality on this is just as good. I mean, obviously the blade's going to be better. It's M390. It's got a belt satin hollow grind. This is the bead blast finish, you know. But as far as the scales go and the tolerances and everything, this is on up there with any knife that I have in my collection. So you can see it's bigger than the Marrow. Let's do one everyone hates to see me pull out, the XL Rosie. Just a fantastic clone, you know. Very similar. And the mill on this is just as deep as it is on here. It's just the raised portions on this are so much more raised and like deeper, I guess you would say. You know, I said this might have the deepest milling out of any knife that I have, but I think that's a lie. I think this green thorn actually does, especially on this ridge running right there. But you can see they're very similar opened up. Again, just a crazy good clone. The action on this thing is, oh, it's so good. Maybe one that more people might have, the Petrified Fish Victor. Great budget piece. So smaller, definitely. So yeah, that kind of gives you an idea of the size of it. It's a big knife, and then it does have jimping up here that is functional. It's not the grippiest in the world, and then the scales actually come to a pretty significant point right here on the back, and it kind of aids in that jimping right there. And I think that was intentional because that's the only sharp place on the entire knife. Everything else on it is so nicely chamfered, rounded. Just like the feeling in hand on this thing is so buttery. And the clip, like I said, the clip works so good. You know, it almost wants to land on this, but because you can see how heavily chamfered the lock bar cutout is, it doesn't even matter. It doesn't pop or anything over it. And then look at the blade. They've got it nestled into the little cutout right there. So it's like perfectly lined up in there. It's just everything about this thing is so good and so well done. $80. $80 on Aliexpress right now, and then you can use coupons on top of it so you can get it even cheaper. You know, I got mine like over a year ago for around the $70 mark, and I'm sure if you were patient and kept looking around on there, you could get it for closer to that price. But yeah, this thing, you know, if you don't mind it being a clone, I'd run out and buy one if I were you, because it's phenomenal. All right, y'all have a good one.